Okay, yeah, okay. So listen, today I got another PowerPoint, right? So we finna be talking about fate versus free will because I posted on my Facebook page the other day about how if free how free will is an illusion, and if it was an illusion, then why can I'm talking about astrologers, psychics, tarot readers, why can we predict future events? So some people were saying, well, because this, that, and third. I said, okay. What about looking into the actual past, though? Because if you get tarot card users, astrologers like myself, oracle card people, or psychics or whatever, if we are able to tell you about things that have happened in your actual past, that we didn't know you, we were never around you, but we are able to really tell you exactly what happened in your actual life in the past, and a lot of times to the T, it's about things you did, about things about people you dated, about your parents, about deceased family members, about illnesses. Let's just focus on the past part. Then how could you possibly say, well, I have free will in the way that you all think that you do? I can do whatever I want. The whole time you're really running off of a whole program, honestly. That's why the birth chart is so important, right? Listen, let me go right here. That is why the birth chart is so important. I want everybody to understand this. This rules over your entire life. Please understand that. Every area of your actual life. Please understand that. And I'm gonna be referencing back to this chart. But yeah, so I'm gonna break this down. So listen, I got this from an actual blog post. If you all want to go follow me on a blog spot. I mean blogger. Type in Rex Kane blogger or Rex Kane blog spot. I got a whole bunch of different articles that a lot of y'all might find a lot of use in. Right. So now up here I got fate versus free will. So now let's just define it before we do anything. Right. Let's just define it before we do anything. Let's see. Right. Well, this gonna be probably like the best example, honestly. What does it say? Fate means everything happens for a reason, right? And then it says free will is I rule my own destiny. That's essentially what it actually is, right? So fate is like these things that are going to happen, which is what astrology is, right? But then you get free will, right? Which is not false. I mean, it's not fake. It's just an illusion. Free will exists, but not in the way that you all think that it actually does, right? And I'm finna break it all the way down for everybody so y'all completely understand on why I say that, right? So now and then I also posted on that post some examples. I don't have the examples with me now, but y'all go look at my birth chart reviews, go on my blog spot, or go on my page, and you'll see plenty of reviews from me, review from the past, present, future, all that, right? So now let's get into the presentation, right? Oh, excuse me. So now free will is an illusion, but it's not a lie. So when we say free will is an illusion, we don't mean that it doesn't exist at all. We mean it's not what people think it is, right? So it's like we're choosing freely. It looks like we're in control, but most of the time we are just acting out programming, emotional, karmic, cultural, and biological. Understand that if you believe in astrology in general, in and of itself, you understand that, okay, you are here for a reason, right? And guess what? Your moon sign, your mind is here. You didn't will that. Your sun sign, your soul is what it is. You didn't will that. The life that you have, a lot of times initially you didn't will the parents you have, the mama you have, the cousins you have. A lot of times you didn't even want to be in a certain situation that you were. So we say that we have an option with everything. You don't have an option with every single thing, right? You can't even force people to actually like you, what I'm saying, on their own, right? People that's their own choice to like you. You can do whatever you want. You know what? I got free will. I'm gonna choose me a good relationship. How you gonna choose you a good relationship, right? You can you can get a relationship, right? But the thing about it is, in order for it to be good, you got to be good, and this other person outside of you has to be good, right? So you can only control your part of the relationship. You can't control their part. That's why some people be like, "But I did everything. I tried. I was aiming for this relationship. I was aiming for this. I was aiming for that. I was trying to will it into existence, and it still didn't come, right? Because sometimes you just don't have an option, right? So when, a lot of times when y'all say free will, y'all mean that y'all can do whatever y'all want to get whatever results y'all want. No. I'm gonna break all that down. So now, illusion doesn't mean fake; it means perceived. It means misperceived, right? So now, think of a mirage in the desert. It looks real, but it's a trick of the actual light, right? It's not a lie. It's a real experience that's misunderstood, right? Or like a magic trick. You see the effect, but not the hidden mechanics behind it. Like y'all ever know, like when it's real hot on the damn road or whatever, y'all ride and y'all can see like it's like a watery mirror image in the middle of the street when you driving due to the heat and like the heat waves and the light or whatever. It really be looking just like that, right? But that's a real experience that's a real phenomenon that you're seeing, but nothing is actually truly there. Understand that? You see what I'm saying? So, and that's the kind of the dilemma with the free will argument, right? So now, what we call free will is a filtered experience, right? Our choices happen inside a complex web of what? Past conditioning, emotional impulses, deep karmic patterns, subconscious programming. So the free will is actually the conscious mind interpreting decisions it didn't fully create, right? Y'all, listen, a lot of things that you all, if you believe in astrology so much, you have to understand that everything that you initially are is already predisposition. Understand that, right? You didn't get to choose how you are. You didn't get to choose the way you look. Surgically, you can now, or with, you know what I'm talking about, working out in weights or whatever. But I'm just saying, initially, you didn't get to choose nothing. A lot of times, throughout life, it's many situations where you just don't get to choose. You just don't get no say. So everybody wants to be rich and everybody wills it into existence. So if they go to a course and the course say, hey, I got rich like this, just do exactly what I did. If everybody do exactly what this person did, step by step, day by day, and only 5 out of 100 people make it, but all of them will the same thing. So what is so let's break down what will is in general in and of itself. It's basically the desire to manifest. That's what it is, right? And we can clearly look at how many people have hopes and dreams that are completely dashed. How many good talented actors have went to scout after audition, and they still can't get into Hollywood, even though they are good, right? But they're trying to will it. They're trying to put that desire in motion to bring that situation there. I want everybody to understand free will. A lot of people say, well, free will is the actual choice. That's more closely aligned to what it is. You have a choice. Okay, I want to do this or I want to do that. And a lot of times you only have a certain you only have a lot of times you can't even go against the stuff that you actually like. A lot of times people can't even go against their own biases, right? So we say free will, that's kind of like a extremely changeable thing. Now human nature itself is changeable, but the thing about it is when you call it free will, a lot of stuff that you want to do anyways in and of itself is already in your birth chart. I'm gonna break that down in a minute too after I finish reading everything I type. So now free will is real, but it's earned, right? Not given. So true free will means awareness of those patterns and the power to break or rewrite them, right? Until then, it's like being a player in the game who doesn't know the rules yet, right? So there is a way to actually go against fate, but the thing about it is if you're not aware of what fate is, then you won't even know how to go against the fate, right? You don't know that it exists, so you just dismiss it or you ignore it the whole time. This is something that you really need to be focused on in order to get to the next level. In order to get to the next level, real talks. Now, in short, free will isn't fake. It's just not what it appears on the surface to be, right? It's a deep dance between destiny, choice, and consciousness, right? Also, subconscious energy, right? So now, but there are some things in life that just can't be stopped or done, no matter how much you will it. Understand that, right? So you believe choice itself is free will, but sometimes you don't even get you don't even get choice. You don't even get choices, even if you want or will it. So now free will is an illusion, right? And so now, and here's why you can't refute it. So now, if free will truly existed, total, uninfluenced, radical free agency, then no one should be able to see anything about your life, not your past, present, your future, your wounds, your patterns, nor your actual destiny. What do you all come to astrologers and tarot readers for? So when we tell you about certain stuff that's going to happen to you in the future, and it do happen to you, we're not talking about personality. If somebody say, hey, this person gonna come to you and so and so, or hey, you're gonna end up in this situation, so and so. A random tarot reader, a random astrologer who had never been around you in your life tell you about an event that's going to happen and that shit happens. I mean, how can you explain that? Especially when they tell you about what's going on in your past, right? We're not talking about, okay, looking at your birth chart now and saying, okay, this probably happened to you because this. No. We're not saying this is happening to you because it is, although that can be the case. I want you to know that we're saying, hey, this has happened to you in the past, or this will happen to you in the future if you don't stop so and so A, B, C, or D. Real talk. You see what I'm saying? So a lot of times astrology does have a lot of absolutes in it, right? But there is a small thing of will, but it's not free. The thing about it is a lot of stuff that y'all want and desire and try to manifest, that shit takes a lot of time, a lot of effort, and it takes a lot of things to even just bring in to even try to manifest what you're trying to manifest. Right? A lot of energy, a lot of soul search. You might have to cut people off. You might have to bring people in. You might have to sit down and reconfigure your whole mindset and mind frame, right? You might lose sleep. It's a lot of things that come. So when we talk about free will, no. You have will, but it's definitely not a free thing. I always understand that, right? But you do have the power to take your destiny in your own hands. But the thing about it is, I mean, you lack the awareness of what's really going on, and you refuse to accept that you're on the program. That's the whole issue. You refuse to accept that you are on a program at all, and so you're like, I'm just gonna do this. The thing about it is, some people can not understand what the program is and still do well in life. You want to know why? Because their program is already predisposition for them to go past obstacles more smoothly than you and arrive to their destination in their mental minded model. And they like, well, I don't have to go through all that. Yeah, because your whole life was kind of karmically set up for you to succeed, right? You had good past life fruits of labor. And that's why you're doing good right now. I'm telling y'all. So now, but there's a cosmic catch, right? Psychics, astrologers, tarot readers, oracle readers, they do it every day. They see, they read timelines like open books. They speak what you've never shared. A lot of times we do that. A lot of times I do that for sure. They touch memories you've buried in silence. They pull pain from your past like threads from a tapestry, right? So now, if your life is one, so yeah, I'll pay attention to this, y'all. If your life was 100% free will, then how could astrologers, tarot readers, how could any of us say, okay, you were emotionally abandoned at 7? That's not no guesswork. We're looking and we're looking at certain configuration, especially with the birth chart, because the birth chart is the whole blueprint of your life from birth to death. So how could I say you were emotionally abandoned at 7? That's not a personality. That's not a guess, and that's a past event. And I'm telling you that this was karmically marked in your actual life, right? No matter if you wanted to will it or not. So that, and you didn't even have a choice in the actual matter. Understand that. Or if I say you struggle with addiction between 22 and 25, everybody don't, y'all can say, but you say that about anybody. No, you cannot. Everybody don't struggle with addiction. Everybody doesn't. A lot of people do, but a lot of people don't. So that's not a commonality. Not everybody is addicted to something in the way that you would think that people are addicted to. Are there a lot? Yes, not everybody. So how could I tell you that? You met a karmic partner in 2021 that shattered your identity, right? What if you meet a man or you meet a woman that kind of really challenged every single thing that you knew about yourself and kind of broke you down to the bare bone? Now, you could say, well, that can be a little bit, but no, this thing about it is, what if I give you this type of person? What if I give you where y'all met? It's a lot of things that you can, you know what I'm talking about, weave in there, right? Or if I tell you, hey, listen, you had this issue with your stomach or your heart or or one of your organs around from ages 1 through 12. You say, yeah, I was in that doctor when I was young and all this. You didn't have a choice in the matter. And you want to know why you didn't have choices about it? Because years later, you're getting your birth chart read by a stranger who never knew you, never met you. And I'm telling you what happened to you in your life, whether you wanted to or not, because it's karmically marked inside of the actual birth chart, right? So now, and be right. So now, that's not guessing. That's not intuition alone, right? That's pattern recognition built into the structure of your existence, like sacred geometry. That's what I'm trying to let everybody understand. So the proof, the past. We can just focus on the past strictly. We aren't even predicting with the past. You got to remember, predict is to say, okay, I can see events are going ahead a certain way. No, we're not talking about that, right? So now we are reading your history. You understand that, right? In the past, it's already happened. You can't argue it. You've lived it. So how do we know? Somebody hit me with a crazy talking about some they disagree because I'm disregarding the multiversal theory. I just thought that was just a ridiculous answer. I'm just keeping it honest. And if you're watching this now, yes, when you commented on my post, that was a highly ridiculous answer. Because what does that have to do with about what I'm saying about you specifically in this world, in this realm, not you across other realms, just in this, that's all I'm saying. So I don't even know what a lot of times people And I'm gonna say this: a lot of times when people think you're too intelligent, they think you're too smart, and they see other people gravitating towards you, and they see nobody else that's really truly challenged your ideas. A lot of times, people will just try to challenge your ideas just because they feel like that they don't want you to think that you're the only person that knows stuff. They know stuff too, and everybody shouldn't listen to you and follow you just because you think you're right. And I don't like the way you teach stuff or the way you talk. A lot of times they end up stumbling over their words, saying some bullshit that don't make no sense, and it's not does not pertain or it's not relevant to the actual debate or argument. Period. I forget a lot of people. I be like, "Did you see this?" They be like, "No." I be like, "Do you know this?" They be like, "No." And then my mom like, "Well, why are you saying anything about any of this shit at all if you don't know anything about what I'm specifically saying?" Because this what happens. I'm specifically saying one thing, you're specifically saying something else. You think you're talking about my topic, but when I sit there and look and really listen to what you're saying, I'm like, that don't got nothing to do with what I'm talking about at all, fully, period. So a lot of times, just so be worried. A lot of times, people just want to challenge you because they feel like they don't want you to feel like that you're too smart or you're better than them or this, that, and third. A lot, but and that's just a human. That's just the human competitive spirit. Real talk, right? So now the thing about it is, so now because it was encoded, because your chart, your energy, your karma, all left footprints, because destiny is real, and free will isn't original, it's earned. Understand that. So now free will is a glitch hack. Understand that, right? Most people think they're choosing, but they're just reacting, living on autopilot, stimulus and response, right? Swiping, consuming, repeating. So now you don't have free will if you haven't seen the pattern you're trapped in. Awareness comes first. Understand it. I'm like, okay, so this is the box. This is the box of my life. Yes, my mama did this. Yes, I did this when I was young. Yes, I went through this when I was young. Yes, I dated this person. Yes, I thought about doing this. Yes, this event happened in my life, right? We talking about all from the past. Yes, you see what I'm saying? So now you like, okay, but how do I alleviate myself from the stress of this caved in thing, right? So a lot of stuff you can't worry about that already happened. Certain situations are just what they are. So now we got to focus on predicting the future. So that's when I give you a reading. Hey, this could happen. This could happen. This could happen. This could happen. But more than likely, if you don't do this and this, then this event is going to happen. If you don't do this and this event is going to happen. So a lot of times you have the capability to change the actual future, but if you're not aware of it, how can you? But sometimes there are some things that you just cannot change. And in astrology, that's going to be called the sixth house. But I'm going to get to that in a minute too. So now free will is like a cheat code. You only get access to it once you realize you're in a simulation because now you understand it from a higher perspective. Now you're like, okay, these are my choices. So I can change this about my life. I can change the future now, right? Because now I understand where the path was headed. I'm not just mad and in my ego like I don't know what's going on. That's what it really truly actually is, right? So now still think it's all vibes. Check this out. Sit across from a skilled reader. Let them tell you things you've never said out loud, right? Let them tell you names, dates, patterns, shadows, strategies, and when your heart drops because it's all true. Understand that, right? So now ask yourself, how could they know the past if it wasn't written, right? Free will doesn't vanish. It just doesn't start at zero. It emerges in stages like levels of a game, right? So until then, you're playing out the code of your dashes. For those of y'all who don't know what dashes and transits are, these are astrological planetary segments of certain lifetime cycles that you go through things, right? Your placements, your karma, your wounds, your lessons. How do we know that, right? The code was written before you was. I mean, it was written before your ass born. It's honestly. So no free will is so no free will isn't your birthright. It's your graduation prize, sacred override. So now you have to see the script to rewrite it. Until then, it's all deja vu. You're just living out the prophecy. Some things in life are just unavoidable, right? This had to do with the sixth house of karma. For those who don't know what the sixth house of karma is, so now in Vedic astrology, we have a concept, and it is called we have a concept, and it's called the sixth house. Sixth house is called the house of Pradabdha karma, right? Meaning unchangeable or unavoidable karma, right? It's like something that's already manifested that you have to experience in this life, and that will be this house right here. So now let's talk about how we can practically look at how free will isn't as free as you think it is. So I'm gonna give you a prime example. Let's say, for instance, like this person right here is a Libra ascendant, right? And they got Rahu in the first house, or y'all call it the North Node of tropical, but in Vedic it's called Rahu, right? So now Rahu, unlike the North Node in tropical astrology, Rahu in Vedic astrology rules unconventional things, scientific things, rebellious things, all that, right? So now let's just say this. They're a Libra ascendant, so their overall life path should be taking on the traits of what balance, harmony. You know, what I'm talking about beautification, relationship rectification. You see what I'm saying? Relationship reconciliation, diplomacy, all these type of things, right? It's what their life should be. You know, what I'm talking about going. You know, what I'm talking about taking on, right? But since Rahu comes there, guess what? Rahu kind of like you know what I'm saying? Because I got Rahu in Libra, but Rahu can kind of like make it a little, especially since it's going to the first house of identity, it can make a person a little bit more unconventional and unique in the way that they approach things, right? Let's say for instance, so now every house has a planetary ruler and every planet has an activation, right? So when Venus activates, check this out, wherever that Venus is at, or that Venus is at, and Venus in the fourth house in Capricorn, with Uranus and what you call it, check this out. It's in the fourth house, so check this out. Let's say, for instance, I forgot what age Venus activates in. Let me see. Let me hold up, y'all. Let me look at my phone. Let me see. Let me see. Venus activation Vedic. Let me see. Age. Let me see. I need to see age. At 20, okay, it's say at 25, I believe it's at 25. So let's say, for instance, if these person, if a 40-year-old come to get a reading from me, and I say, okay, hey, so check this out. Venus rules over your whole life, right? And Venus is sitting right there in the fourth house. Where is Saturn? Saturn's sitting right there with Sun. So what if I say, okay, so yeah, at 25, it looks like that you more than likely got into an ego battle with maybe either your mother or your actual father, which caused you to have to uproot and separate yourself and distance yourself from them. And it also could have been some dispute, you know what I'm talking about, over your children, over some type of legal cases with the actual court as well. You see what I'm saying? You might have got involved in like child custody and yeah. Child custody issues, whatever. And what if this client like, oh my God, all of that stuff happened to me? How did you know that stuff happened to me? That is crazy. And I say, well, listen, I say, well, Venus rules over your overall life. And now I'm sitting in the fourth house. Look at the planets it's sitting with Uranus and Neptune, right? So you got to remember when this Venus planetary time period activated, this activated, but you got to remember, but it's stemming from where it's at, right? So you got to remember, you could have uprooted your actual self, right? And then you could have probably moved somewhere long distance. Strong possibility you may have, right? You see what I'm saying? But why do I say this? You could have uprooted yourself. Because check this out. Venus rules not only the identity, but it also rules the eighth house of transformation. So guess what? I could have said, oh, you probably got into it with one of your spouse's family members, probably one of their younger family members. She probably was a female because Mercury is like younger siblings and Venus is like, you know what I'm talking about, feminine energy. But then you got the rebellious nature. And I say, okay, so let's paint a picture. So when you were 25, so these are three possibilities that probably happened. You probably got into it with your spouse's with your spouse is family, right? And y'all had to uproot together. You either had to break up with him, or y'all had to leave and stop dealing with his or her family all together, right? I could say something as simple as that, or I could say, well, check this out. It looks like that you probably went through some type of eviction. Honestly, you could have probably even got into it with the actual landlord as well, right? And the folks will be like, well, how could you say the person could have got into it with the actual landlord at the house, right? Because the fourth house rules over the physical home. Moon rules over, Saturn is ruling over the actual physical home of the fourth house. But now Saturn is sitting with Sun, which is an authoritative planet off top. And then it's also sitting with the moon, right? And the moon rules what? The 10th house of authority, figures, and bosses, right? And Mars is there. And I could say, and they be like, oh, damn, how did you know that happened? Damn, that's crazy. There you go, right there. And this is just an example, right? Oh, I forgot the third thing about the kids too. So yeah, let's say Vanda. the eighth lord and your ascendant is both ruled by Venus, and Venus is going to your fourth house, right? And you got to remember, this is still the home life, right? So this means strong disruption with the actual home life, right? And then boom, it's coming, and then Saturn rule over the home, and Saturn sitting with the sun, which rules the government, the fifth house, which rules children and kids, right? And the moon also, which rules what? Authority figures and representatives. Then check this out. Mars, look, is aspecting the fourth house, right? But a lot of you all don't know Mars has a secret aspect. Well, Mars aspects eight from itself, right? But look, one, two, three, four. So we count them not as okay, Mars aspects one, two, three. No. We start where it's at with all planets. So one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight. Now Mars conversations coming right into there, right? So you see, it's so many different possibilities of what could have happened in the past. It just takes the reader to really be able to intuitively narrow it down. But if we get it right, then that happened in your past, right? Whether you wanted it to or not, is what I'm saying. So even if you wanted this thing to change around that age, you still had to go through it, right? Because this was a karmically encoded thing inside of your birth chart. This is what people just don't really understand, right? So I just made it really, really way, way more simple for a person to understand. Way more simple for a person to understand that, right? So let's say, for instance, if they like 36 or whatever. Mars don't activate. I think to Mars doesn't mature fully mature to about 28, right? So what if I say, okay, well, it looks like when it came to your career, it looks like that you thought about getting involved in some type of physical fitness work, right? Regarding like working at a school or trying to get into some type of like fitness education classes or something like that. They're like, damn, how did you know about that? Well, I could say, hey, maybe you try to start you a business around that age or whatever, and the business could have been involved around things like hospitality, social work. You know what I'm talking about? And you may even thought about going to school for like criminal justice. They'd be like, damn, how do you know all that? Well, this you got Mars right here aspecting what? The fifth house again, right? Fifth house is still education. Mars can rule fitness. Mars can rule lawyers. Every planet in every house, all this stuff can rule a multitude of things. And that's where the intuition comes in there. Because if I say, hey, so your Mars is aspecting the fifth house, so that means that you probably got into fitness around 28. They'd be like, no, that I didn't. I really don't really care about fitness. Now they're gonna think astrology bullshit and wrong. Whole time you have to understand that these planets rule over a multitude of things. So a person has to intuitively touch on what part of Mars actually is it the fitness part? Is the lawyer part? You see what I'm saying? Is it blood related issues from a medical astrological standpoint? Because you could also say that, right? Yeah, so and that's why a lot of people think astrology is fake because it's the chart not wrong. You got to remember there's a limitation on the human mind, right? When it comes to processing and understanding all of this stuff. So it's not that a person is trying to be wrong. It's not that astrology is wrong itself. It's y'all. This should take a lot of work. It's not no simple process. It's not a simple process, right? And that's what I want to show people. This is why people think astrology is fake because of this. They don't really understand how nuanced and how serious that you have to actually understand. And not to mention, look at all these other charts. What you can't find in here, you have to go find in these other charts, right? To really get a good understanding. Yes, Vedic astrology has all these charts. Yeah, so yes, y'all, and I just wanted to give y'all a quick understanding. So now that you all really understand, okay, damn, this it kind of really is different. Then it's not an easy work. This is like a mathematical, spiritual, artistic work or whatever you can call it. So yes, y'all. But like I said, if y'all want y'all birth chart reading, y'all know exactly where to come and find me. Listen, follow me on TikTok, Revelation Kane, Instagram, Rest Kane with two N's, and Facebook, Inferno Rex, two O's and two X's, right? And everything should be in the in the link section in the actual, below, right? But other than that, I will talk to y'all later, everybody. Peace.